President Bush. I'm referring to George W. Bush, the Jr., the second. I don't think he was actually a junior. We just used junior as a Bush Senior, Bush Jr. as a shorthand. But so Bush Jr., he went ahead and he campaigned on a isolationist policy. Effectively, he wanted to get out of all the stuff we're doing out overseas. Kind of typical Republican slop of, let's stop doing all these things overseas and let's just focus on ourselves. This would mean cutting down the military, but we're not going to do that. So I don't know what the fuck all these people are supposed to do. But we're not going to cut the military, but we're going to pull out of everywhere, and apparently we're just going to, park the Nimitz. Nimitz is probably not a aircraft carrier in our fleet anymore, but I'm just going to say this. We're just going to park the Nimitz aircraft carrier just like on the White House lawn, so it can be useful, because we're going to be pretty isolationist. He was pitching an isolationist strategy. Then 9/11 happened, and suddenly we were in Afghanistan, and then we're being told Iraq has nuclear weapons, and suddenly we're in Iraq, and that was all a lie, just to get, and suddenly this isolationist policy became a very outward-facing war policy in the Middle East, in an area we didn't want to get into ever before because it was going to be a quagmire. Blew up the deficit, threw spending out the window. Tax cuts while increasing military spending. It was bad. Fast forward to so we go through the Obama years, and he hasn't pulled us out. He promised to pull us out, but he didn't. He didn't pull us out, and in fact expanded the drone strike programs started by the Bush administration. But, pared down the deficit, stopped the growth of the deficit that happened under the Bush administration. And we get to Trump, and he also campaigned on more military spending but less military conflict. He's going to get us out of the Middle East. Even though, then what is the point of all this military spending? We're not, it's not like we're spending it on the things we need. Our Navy desperately needs to retrofit and work over all of our, just about the entire fleet. But no, that's not the money. We're talking about boots on the ground spending, which is kind of strange because Trump is talking about pulling out boots on the ground. I've never understood that philosophy. So we have, and then right near the end of his first term, he decides to, provoke Iran, and he's been warmongering around Iran for a while, and we had been told that it was apparently John Bolton that was the major force behind this warmongering with Iran. He's the one who wanted to make preemptive action. He wanted to take preemptive action. He wanted to strike Iran, which means we've got several which means we've had several weird exchanges out of the White House. It's like, oh, we're about to strike Iran. Wait, people are gonna die if we do that? Oh, let's not do it. Let's not do it. And so he's kind of run that a while, and now he's done a drone strike on Iraqi soil of an Iranian official who is also an Iraqi advisor. This is a quagmire. We've thrown out like all the work we've done to have Iraq be an ally in that country. Iraq no longer wants us there. So, not sure what the point of the Iraq War was, because if we haven't been able to pull our people out of Iraq because of issues with, because of fears of where the country's going to go if we pull out. And now we're just kind of being thrown out. So, and it looks like they're going to start working with Iran. So we've just thrown them into the arms of our supposed enemy. Iran has promised they're going to, like, I don't think that they're justified in necessarily taking revenge measures. I don't think they should. But I would have said I don't think the America should have drone striked someone on another country's soil. There are a whole lot of problems with that. We can't even fly over their airspace now. And so, this is a problem. So, with all of that said, the Iraqi, but here's the thing, it's probably going to start a war, and Trump believes that starting a war with Iran at the end of your first term can be used to get you a second term. It's pretty famously said that's what Obama was going to do 8 years ago. Didn't do it. Obama didn't do it, but Trump did. And so you have to imagine Trump still thinks the same. He thinks that's going to get him. He can't. He's weak, and he can't negotiate with Iran. He can't negotiate with Iran because he started by telling Iran he wasn't going to negotiate in good faith. Somehow that didn't get Iran to the table. And then after failing to negotiate in good faith, he's like, yeah, we're going to assassinate, so let me give you a bit of a quick theoretical. Say Trump was killed today. Trump is the ultimate decision maker in the military officially. He is the commander-in-chief. But he doesn't plan operations. He only approves them. So if there was an imminent operation, say he was gonna kill whoever the fuck he killed, we had killed, that he decided to go on a 10-minute rant about how this guy died without dignity, and we dipped all the bullets that killed him in pig's blood, so he can't go into the afterlife. Like, you know that one. Where he did, it wasn't enough that he killed his opponent. He killed this terrorist leader. He had to he had to humiliate this leader. So, say he'd planned that. It was imminent. He's approved it. If Trump is then assassinated, that doesn't actually stop the mission. Trump's already approved it. It's imminent. It's fully planned. It's fully authorized. It's gonna happen regardless of that assassination. In fact, it's more likely to happen in reaction to that assassination, right? If the people we were targeting with this operation went and assassinated Trump, we're definitely going through with it now. We're going to murder the hell out of them. But that's the logic that Trump has given us for why we killed this Iraqi or Iranian official, is because, there was an imminent attack, and so he had to go right then, several days later, because otherwise and that hasn't, now granted, that hasn't been the story since everyone started pointing out that makes no sense. But that's the idea, is that killing him really didn't change much. He's been replaced with a protege who appears to be a carbon copy. So we haven't done much except piss everyone off. And I don't know about you, but that doesn't seem like a good strategy for making the Middle East safer. Oh, and now we're shoving even more troops into the Middle East. He pulled out of Syria, saying, "Oh yeah, we're pulling out of the area. We're pulling out of the Middle East, and we shoved more troops into the Middle East instead of Syria, and now more troops going to the Middle East." We're not actually, we're not pulling people out. We're not making the world safer. And did you notice there's an interesting, Obama didn't get us into any wars, but he did backtrack on the whole, get us out of the Middle East promise. Getting us out of the Middle East is kind of the new, getting us out of the Middle East is like a jobs promise. It's something every politician does. But you notice that that both Trump and Bush were promising a very limited global role government, despite promising massive increases in military spending, which really would not be needed if which really wouldn't be needed if we're pulling out of all the active combat zones. That could probably save us enough money that we could do the boots on the ground equipment purchases. Whereas, the money that Trump is siphoning from necessary Navy ship maintenance and retrofitting and repair, that's not no that money can go to the wall. We don't need that. So both of them promised this promise to pull us out of all these active combat zones, stop being the world's police force, and then have Bush clearly got us into a war. Trump is trying to get us into a war without having to declare a war. Oh God, he's trying to get us into a war without having to declare war. That's a problem, don't you think? It's a very I have to wonder if we can ever in the future trust a Republican candidate who says, "Oh yeah, I wanna stop being the world's police force." Because the moment you say that, I have to say, well, the last two Republican presidents said that we weren't going to be the world's police force, and then lied to get us into a war. And that suggests that maybe war was a priority, regardless of what the candidates say. I don't know, just kind of a strange thing that we campaign that they're literally. It's just a strange thing to me. Obama didn't fulfill a promise. Bush and Trump both fabricated justifications to actively break campaign promises, to perform actions in contradiction to their campaign promises. It was very affirmative. I'm hoping I'm not the only one who sees this. Till next time.